excited to be a D-line coach here now.
Hey, Coach. Tyler King with the Denver Gazette. Obviously, this is an area you're familiar with from your time with the Broncos. Just kind of what's it like being back here, and how much are you looking forward to meeting Buff fans that are Bronco fans, and just kind of having those conversations with people that remember you as a player?
Yeah, man, it's really good to be back in Colorado, man. I had two seasons here, and I know they weren't the best of seasons as far as a team, but I felt like what I brought to the table here in Denver was like a run-stopping, you don't even knows, and I felt like I did my job here. And once people started catching wind of it, a lot of Broncos country was like, heck yeah, happy to have me back. And but yeah, I'm really excited to be back in Colorado. Never been up to Boulder, so this is my first time in this area. It's very beautiful, and just being part of this, man, being part of something that, you know what I mean, where you can take it to the next level, or you can help guys out, help coaches out, help each other out, and sharpen each other up to be the best team that Colorado's ever seen. That's what we're trying to do here, so excited.
Hi, Coach. Adam Munster Tiger, 24/7 Sports. Nice to meet you. I know we're only 2 spring practices in, but just early impressions of that group that you inherited.
Yeah, man, it's a really good group, man. We got a lot of seniors on our group. I think we got like 5 to 6 seniors in our D-line group, and we got some young guys as well, so it's a good mix. But I'm really when you have a lot of seniors, when you have a lot of guys that this is their last year, their last chance to make it, it brings out the best in everybody. You know what I mean? So that's what I love about our room is the competition that we have. Right now it's our second day of spring ball, and you can see that the juices were flowing today. Guys are playing a little bit faster, and but I really love our room. We got a good group of dudes that are hungry, and coming from Dallas to here, it's a big difference, you know what I mean? Because guys in the league, they kind of already there. They're making a lot of money, you know what I mean? They're at the top, you know what I mean? So coming here, these guys are trying to get to the top, so they're so much hungrier here. And just listen to your every word, and I'm excited that they're showing it on film, man. When you tell somebody in the classroom, hey, do this, do that, and they're going out there second day of spring ball and they're executing it, that's what makes my day. So I'm excited for our group. I think it's going to be a group that leads us, because I feel like the best teams are led from the front. So we're going to definitely take lead and try to lead from the front here. Thank you.
Hey, Coach. Tony Casolo, Buffalo's Wire. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
You mentioned it a little bit there, coaching in Dallas last year, but what are the main differences you see in coaching the pro game versus the college game?
Yeah, I feel like the pros, you know what I mean? A lot of the guys are a little bit older, you know what I mean? And they have kids. They got like 2 kids. They got mortgages, you know what I mean? And not only that, but they're already at the highest level of it, you know what I mean? So you'll coach some guys. Some guys will take the coaching. Some guys are like, I'm already, you know, I know what to do. You know what I mean? It's my job. You know what I mean? But here, man, when you go to the college level, these guys are all hungry. I feel like they're a little bit more hungry and a little bit more coachable. You know what I mean? So those are the major differences I see. But at the end of the day, man, it's football. You know what I mean? So that's what I told one of our guys today. I was like, hey, dude, I know we're telling you to do this, do that, but at the end of the day, man, it's football. Go out there and have fun. You know what I mean? And that's what I really enjoy about college. I feel like the guys are a little bit more hungry here than in the NFL to learn.
John, go ahead.
John Treach, 9 News, Coach. Great to meet you. When you talk about having those NFL expectations, and so many guys on the staff have that background, what's the biggest challenge in reaching this level of athlete?
Yeah, it's a little bit different, you know. But this is one of the things Coach Prime has been emphasizing on us as coaches, is to find the best way, because each player is different. Some guys like to chalkboard, you know what I mean? They like to see plays like that. Some guys like more walkthroughs, you know what I mean? Some guys like watching more film. So you got to really find out how each player learns the best, and that's what I'm doing right now. You know what I mean? I'm seeing some guys that really take it from walkthrough and take it to the field. Some guys are really good on the film work and then can execute. So right now I'm still finding out our room and seeing what guys and how they learn. But yeah, that's a great question. So definitely on the path of learning the best way to teach these guys.
Hey, Coach. I'm Jack Harlow with Buffalo's Wire. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
With the Broncos, if I'm right, you play with Phil Lindsay for a couple of years there?
Yes, sir. Big
just,
Phil.
Just wondering if you've
Yeah.
talked to him at all, and just because, you know, yeah, great buff, and just what your relationship is.
Yeah, man. I remember Philip Lindsay, brother. He did his thing as a rookie. I think he was a Pro Bowler as a rookie. I remember coming from CU, he used to always say that. I was from Colorado, went to Colorado. You know what I mean? That was one of his sayings. You know what I mean? But it's really cool because I seen. But right next to our locker room is a big old picture of Philip, and then inside our indoor facility is a big thing of Philip there. So it's really cool to see. Big Phil on the walls here, because he was a hell of a player. You hardly see a Pro Bowl rookie player coming that's undrafted. You know what I mean? So definitely a big shout out to Phil, and definitely got to hit him up though. I haven't had a chance to talk to him, but I know one day he'll come on campus and we'll go have lunch and catch up. But shout out to Big Phil Lindsay.
Hey, Coach, Scott Proctor, DNVR. Great to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Scott.
Likewise. I'm curious your first impressions of working with Coach Robert Livingston and just what you've seen from him. You know, him leading this defensive unit, and I think him and Coach Zimmer as well have a pretty good relationship as well. Just kind of your first takeaways in working with and being around Coach Liv.
Yeah, man, I really enjoyed being back with Coach Rob. When I first met him in Cincy, he was doing a lot of the scouting things at the time, and it's really good to reunite with somebody, man, someone that you trust, someone that you know, and that you have a relationship with. So, and I really love how he makes it simple for the guys. You know, we're not putting in 100 installs. You know what I mean? He's keeping it nice and basic and simple, but at the same time, man, he does a good job of teaching. You know what I mean? And that's what coaching is, man. It's not only about yelling at people and getting them to do the right things, but it's about being the best teacher. You know what I mean? Getting the best out of your guys. And I think Rob does a great job of getting the best out of his unit. So I can see Rob being a head coach one day.
Two more, Tyler, go ahead.
On a similar note, obviously getting a chance to work with Warren Sapp, you guys overlapped time in the NFL as well. Just kind of what's that been like? We all saw the energy he brought last year. Just kind of how is it like working with him and collaborating with him?
Oh, it's awesome, man. I've been with him a couple days now, and at practice, he definitely brings the energy. You got to love that. And then also, man, aside from the energy, man, he has so much knowledge as well, you know, at the three-tech position. So right now, man, he's been working a lot with the threes, and I've been working with the noses and overall as a group. But it's really good to have a gold jacket in the room, someone that's seen every block, you know what I mean, someone that's been there and done that. Today, like Coach was talking about, Coach Deion has been talking about, Coach Prime, about just running to that ball and going with reckless abandon, swarming that ball. And we pulled up an old clip of Coach Sapp doing it with Tampa and just showing him that I know he has a gold jacket and all that, but it didn't just come, right? He had to work for that thing. You know what I mean? It was just showing how fast he was running to the ball, that whole Buccaneers defense flying around. And we showed a couple clips of that. And it's really great to have former players and guys that have done it at the highest level coaching these young guys. So it's definitely a blessing to be with Coach Sapp. Appreciate it.
Hey, Coach. Matt Smith, Independent. When you first were contacted about this position, what were some of the questions you had, maybe some of the preconceived notions you had? You talked about on Saturdays, you guys used to get together, watch the CU games. And then getting here, what did it feel like in person? Did something surprise you? What did you learn?
Oh, man, it's for me, brother, now that I'm, getting into coaching and all that, it's definitely, once I got the call, and it was a blessing. When I looked at it as a blessing, I got my family together, and we prayed about it, you know what I mean, because we had to make a decision, So we all live in California right now, my wife and my 3 boys. So we prayed about it, asked God about it, and then we talked about it as a family. And my kids, they're all football players. They're like, Dad, you better go take that job, man. They're like, go do it. You know what I mean? So my wife and my kids were pushing me to do it, and I'm so happy that I'm here now. And once I got into the door, man, I could see why this team has been so successful over the past couple of years because of the energy they have here, the great coaching staff they have, and then not only that, the players, man. The players are hungry and they want to get better. You know what I mean? So, and I feel like that's the name of the game in football. It's what have you done for us now, and then also what are we going to do tomorrow? Let's keep stacking great days and keep getting better and sharpening each other up. But definitely love being here and happy I got that call and happy to be the D-line coach here. Appreciate you guys, man. Much love. Let's go Buffs. Thank you.
Not quite, Doctor. Getting close. Yeah.
Jake, go ahead and get us started.
Hey, Coach, Jake Schwannis, DMVR. With Jordan, just what does it mean for a team, and a unit like yours when the left tackle is not only the best player but the leader of the team?
I mean, it takes care of everything, right? So not only Jordan, though, but you got Cash, Zai, one of the new guys, Mana, one of the new guys, some of the guys that have been in backup roles too, like Zach. They're all coming together. It's not just Jordan. I mean, Jordan's a big part of it, but everybody else is working together, and I think that's a huge thing.
Hey, Coach. Brian Howell, the Daily Camera. Two-part question for you.
Yep.
This opportunity for you, what does it mean for you? And then also, can you talk about working with George and also Andre?
Andre? Yeah. I mean, it's a dream come true for me. Once I didn't play a lot of ball. Little JUCO, had a cup of coffee in D1, but after that, I got into student equipment managing at Jackson State, and I worked my tail off. And Timmy Chang, he gave me a chance And from there, like I was his assistant, he gave me to Hal Mummy, got in with Jay Norvell, who is now at Colorado State, back with Hal, and then with Coach Prime. So, I mean, this is everything I've been working for. It's a true blessing to me and my family. Dre and George, I love them. Dre, I got a chance to meet him in 23, and we've been bouncing ideas back and forth off each other. We've worked with similar guys in the past too. A.J. Smith, he's the air raid run and shoot guy, but he was his line coach in the UFL and the XFL. And G, like I've been around George for a long time too, and I think we come together, we bounce ideas off each other. I think it's a great and beautiful thing.
Hey, Coach. Tony Casolo, Buffalo's Wire. The offensive line group has a good mix of old and new faces. How are they coming together after the first couple practices?
I think it's great. Like I don't think there's any like cliques in the room. I think everybody's coming together. We have an open space for that to be the common goal too. So 5 equals 1 with the other line. Like you can't just have one guy doing his own thing. Like you got to have all 5 of your guys doing the same thing at the same time, and they're really buying into that.
Hi, Coach Adam, Munster Tiger 24/7 Sports. You talked about some of the coaches you've worked under. You've been under Coach Prime for a little while now. Could you speak specifically just to kind of how that chemistry and how that's worked well for you going from Jackson State into this new role here at Colorado?
Yeah, it's just trust and belief. I think that's the biggest part of it, right? So when I got with Prime, Brett Barloni, he was my branch from that. I worked with him at the University of Nevada, and he got the opportunity to be the offense coordinator, and I volunteered. They needed somebody to help with offensive line, and I just came in and I worked, and I worked, and I worked, and I worked. You know, I was a little starstruck a little bit, you know. Took me about two to 3 months to actually go into the office and, you know, not walk past and say, oh, he's on the couch, I better keep going, you know. So I was just trying to keep my head down and just work, and then that just built trust within him to myself, and you know I just try to do everything that he asked me to do, and I don't bat an eye, and I think that's how it built.
Hey, Coach, I'm Jack Harlow with Buffalo's Wire. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Just curious, reflecting on last season, just what areas in particular do you feel like this offensive line needs to improve in to kind of take the next step?
Running the ball, like we have to run the ball, like that's a non-negotiable. Like we had 2 of the best players in college football last year, and of course we're going to utilize that, right? And so if it's a weapon and a strength, why leave it on the table? But we have to run the ball, and the team has to depend on the offensive line this year for us to be successful like we're planning and hope to be.
Hey, Coach. Scott Proctor, DMVR. Good to meet you. Good to see you. I'm curious, you've been rocking with Chauncey Gooden since like 2022 when you were recruiting him at Jackson State. What's it been like to be a part of his recruiting process and now have him as part of your room and part of this program?
A long time coming. You know, he came to us at Jackson State. He was a freshman, and at that camp then, like I wanted him to play for me right then and there. Like that's how dominant he was then, and I knew that he was only going to grow and get better in time. So we just kept that relationship going and build and build and build. And he's somebody I have a lot of high praise for and a lot of high hopes for. You know, he should be still in high school right now. He's an early enrollee, so it's going to take him a little time to get used to the pace of it and the way that we run things. But I think he's got a very bright future ahead of him, and I'm very proud of him.
Hey, Coach Matt Smith, when you guys went out and attacked the transfer portal based upon last year, based upon some of the things, some of the deficiencies you were talking about, what did you target and how do you feel you achieved those goals?
Athletes and size, right? So in order to run the ball, not only you have to be powerful, but you have to be athletic too to change up the schemes. Like if you want to pull a guard or pull a tackle or whatnot. And then we try to get length on the edge too. So my philosophy is that if you get tackles can easily screw down inside. They can go for guards. Yeah, I mean, you don't see 6'6", 6'7" dudes just walking around the earth anyway. They're hard to find, much less some that are strong and fast and can bend and they're athletic too. So that's just part of the molding and development process too. And I think that we hit on that pretty good.
So with the guys specifically, guys like Zy, McGill, maybe could you run through those guys a little bit?
Yeah.
Give us a little synopsis of what you saw in them.
So Zy Chrysler, he's a transfer from Illinois. he's everything we want in a guy. You know, he comes to work every day. He doesn't talk. He doesn't do anything. He just works. He works. He's strong. I mean, he was all Big 12, or all Big 10 for 2 years. Mana to Mani. He's a hybrid guy too. He's played guard and tackle, and he's a big, powerful, athletic guy. And not only that, he's a grown man. Like, he's married. He's got 2 kids, so he's got other things to go about other than just himself. Like, he's looking at things in the eyes of a man. Like, he's the group dad, really. Like, the other day he was talking about, make sure you guys eat breakfast so you can have a better practice, like that type of deal. It's a good thing coming with them.
Hey, Coach, we saw Philip Houston got injured last year. Just do you have an update on his status when he could possibly be back full-time?
Not 100% sure on that. It probably won't be spring ball, but I think he's rehabbing very well, and he's doing pretty well too. He's starting to fill out a little bit more, so he's going to have a little bit more size, a little bit more strength. So when you got an issue with one part of your body, you got several other parts of your bodies too, so you should be able to work and strengthen those as well.
Thanks, Coach. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Faulk?
Good evening, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on what time zone you're on.
Hey, Coach, Jake Schwanitz, DMVR. I'm just curious from your perspective, Colorado, one of the worst teams at rushing the ball the last 2 years. What was that like for you to watch over the last 2 seasons?
What was that like? Well, it was great watching Shedeur throw the ball. You got to understand when you're bad at running the ball, when it appears to be that you're bad at running the ball, is because you're really, really good or borderline great at throwing the football, and that's what Shedeur brought to this team. And I don't want to say that the team was as bad as they were, but I mean, like when MJ liked dunking, you dunked. Steph Curry likes shooting threes, you shoot threes. That's what you do. And then they say you're bad at something else because you're really good at what you actually do. So I don't believe that we were as bad as the numbers say, but I think that we were really good at throwing the football. So I focus on that part of it, and coming in here and just trying to figure out how do we statistically look better to you guys as a team at running the football.
Hey, Coach. Brian Howell, Boulder Daily Camera. Are you getting used to being called coach? And can you talk about like getting into coaching at this stage in your life?
I don't even think about it. The reality is realizing the age gap between myself and these kids. That's the difference. Because I still remember myself as a player sitting in the room, and for me it's good because I think about how I wanted to be coached, the things I liked about coaches, the kind of coach I wish I had, and now I'm trying to be that for them.
Hey, Coach, Tyler King with the Denver Gazette. You mentioned not feeling like the team was as bad running the football as the numbers say. Just kind of what has stood out to you so far with working with the running back group and the talent you've got with those guys?
I have some guys that's talented. They're good. And one of the things that I believe at this age that resonates with a lot of young kids is they don't know what they don't know. And it's my job to teach them what they don't know. They know what they know, and they're good at that. But the things that they don't know, for me to look at them and say, oh, they're not, well, it's my job to coach them and get them better in the areas and at the things that they don't know. I am here to deliver that information to them, and then hopefully that helps them to get better.
Hi, Coach. Adam Tiger, 24/7 Sports. Nice to meet you. Outside of playing the Broncos during your professional career, did you have any history in Colorado? What would have been your early impressions since you've gotten here?
I've been here several times. Obviously, you guys know the guys who own the Rams, they own the Nuggets, they own the Avalanche. So I've spent some time with the Kroenke family here. They're good friends of mine, wonderful owners, and friends of mine as well. And then literally, I was talking to Coach about coming to camp this year. Last year, I was talking about coming to camp this year when they start camp, because I had to miss last year. I had some stuff going on with my family. My running back coach is Sean Payton was my running back coach, and now he's the head coach at the Broncos. So it's just serendipitous that I'm here now, and it'll be an even easier commute to go there and watch them practice, spend some time with Sean, and get better at the craft, like learn some stuff.
Hey, Coach. Tony Casolo, Buffalo's Wire. We heard you kind of react over there when Coach mentioned needing to improve running the ball and the offensive line. Is that kind of music to your guys' ears when you hear that the offensive line needs and wants to do that?
Man, I just think if you're not trying to improve, then you're getting worse. Even if I came in here and we were coming off being top 10, top 5, I'm still looking at where can we improve. That's the idea, and that's the mindset that we have to have, and that's what we want to instill in the football players that we bring in here and that we coach. I don't care how good you are. It's how much better can we make you? Where can you get better? And if that's all you do is focus on the things that you do well, then you're not improving. I got to take your weakness and turn it into a strength, and that's the idea of what we want to do. And I believe I'm here, and that's what I'm gonna try to do. As you guys look at, and I can't change what you thought about the run game last year, but we're going to be better. I can guarantee you, we are going to be better.
Hey, Coach, Scott Proctor at DMVR. It's great to meet you. I'm curious kind of your philosophy on how carries, touches should be allocated amongst the running back room. Do you think it should be kind of a committee approach because there are a few different talented guys in the room, or is it become a kind of a 3-down back, a workhorse kind of guy emerge?
Here's the guys that I trust will play. I'm not going to ask them to play. In today's game, asking the player that's tired to play that's unheard of. Back when we played, if I was tired, man, give me more carries because I'm really good now. Now I'm settled. We don't play that type of game anymore. We're trying to protect players. You got to have backs ready to play, and they got to have carries. So in a sense of it's fairly easy to me. The guys that I trust based on how they practice and what they do and how they test will play. That's it. And I'm gonna ask them to do certain things, and I want to know what they like doing. And so I'm gonna try to put them in positions to win. But in practice, I'm gonna ask them to do some of the things that they dislike because I need them to get better at that so they can grow if they want to go to the next level.
Hey, Coach. I'm Jack Carlo with Buffalo's Wire. Nice to meet you. Just curious, in your running backs room, I believe everyone is returning from last season. Does that make your job any easier, knowing those guys kind of know what Coach Prime expects?
No. It's just because they know what he expects doesn't mean that they showed up at the first practice and gave it to him. It's like, just like everybody else's room after the first practice, we were like, Coach was like, that was crap. And I'm like, well, y'all know, you guys, you've been here. But all in all, man, it's they are still kids. And we have to remember when we were their ages, how many times did our parents have to tell us to do stuff before we got it? They're no different. Although they're athletes and obviously they get to play on the big stage under the lights, we have to somewhat coddle them in a sense to where they understand the importance and the attention to detail is necessary and getting it right, not some of the times, but all of the times, if you want to be successful.
Hey, Coach, John Treach, 9 News. To anyone alive in the 90s and 2000s, you're an all-time great, but that's not necessarily who you're coaching right now. How do you bridge the war stories or like to share like from your own success and have them understand?
Yeah, football is football. The things that it takes to be great in today's game is what it took to be great in the 40s or 50s. That'll never change. When you watch the game of football, at any point in time, the team who wins the line of scrimmage wins the game. That's it. That's it. That's always going to be the case. If you can dominate the line of scrimmage, you're going to win the game. I don't care how fancy your receivers are, how fast they are, how good your running backs are, how good your quarterback is, how good your secondary, your lineman. If you don't win the line of scrimmage, you are not going to win the game. So I'm coaching football how I know it, and I'm relating it to the game that we play today. And the reality is, they don't have to. I mean, I played damn near whole games in college. I'm like, you don't have to do that anymore. That's not. Nobody's asking you to be that kind of talent. We're asking a lot less of them, but the world, which is the social world, is asking a lot more, and sensationalizing their every move make them feel like they need to be great. And waking up every day just trying to get better is how you be great. Not trying to be great, just try to be better, and eventually you're gonna hit your head on great.
Coach, just curious how far back your relationship goes with Coach Prime and what the conversations were like leading up to you taking this job.
Man, so I remember the first like real conversation he and I had was like in 1999. I was telling him that the dance that he did as a celebration dance, it was a dance that came from New Orleans that he saw when he was in New Orleans. He saw it. I know it because I know that, we know the guys who invented a lot of the dances. Just like Justin Jefferson and the Gritty, that came from New Orleans. We know, like, we are a, if there's a song, we have a dance for it kind of culture. That's us. And so the dance that he did, I told him where he got it from. So we're in game. He's playing for the Redskins at the time. I'm with the Rams. And then I flank out, and this is just funny. I line up, and I walked out there, and he lined up on me, and I said, "Oh man, you know I've been waiting for this my whole life." And he said, "Where you at? You on the outside edge of the numbers? You here?" He said, "That's all you can run is a slant." And I actually had a slant route. I'm like, God damn. And our relationship started then. We worked in television together at NFL Network. And we spent so much time on the road. We literally we went through the Hall of Fame process. The same year. We actually had we had our party together. We've done a lot of stuff together. And I heard you guys ask Peko, like coaching wise, what did he think about it, whatever. I've been saying no to coaching since I left football. And for the past like 3, maybe 4 years, Coach has been grooming me. He'll call me and ask me certain stuff. He'll ask me about a player, and we'll talk about this and that. Hey, come up and watch us practice. So he's been grooming me, and I always felt like for what I invested in the game, it took away from me with my kids. And so for the past, time I've been away from the game, not coaching, not doing anything other than that was television was the only thing that I would do because I could get my Friday night stuff when they play, and then my during the week stuff when my girls would play, I could be at their stuff, and television allowed me to do that, and now it's like I'm wondering when they can come see me. They're older, so. It's been, I was groomed. Coach worked on it. He worked on me.
Coach Matt Smith, Independent. One thing that I notice when Coach Prime refers to you is he talks about how much he reveres your offensive mind. And I'm curious, how have you seen the game evolve over the last, I don't know, decade, 2 decades to where it is now? And how much are you looking forward to kind of lending your expertise to help improve not just the running game, but the entire offense?
Yeah, so it's a much faster paced game. And what we do on offense is we play fast because we want to make, we don't care if we make mistakes. We want you to make mistakes on defense. It's a game that even more than when we played, the team who has the most fundamentals, if you tackle better, if you block, if you do those things, you're going to win. And even more so now than when we played, because they play fast, they play so many plays, and you don't have as much time to get the players ready. So the fundamental things that you don't have time to do, you can't bang all day. You can't get your offensive line as ready as they used to. You can't tackle to the ground as much as you. There's not as much alive, so you can't do that. So now the importance of those two things, blocking and tackling, are so important in today's game. And then for my guys, just making sure that they understand the fundamentals of the game. You know, knowing your assignment, knowing your alignment, knowing who to get and how to get them. That's what we got to do. There's two things that you got to be able to do when you play running back: protect the ball and protect the quarterback. If you can't do them, then you can't play. That's like you are a hazard to the team.
Coach, I want to ask you, Coach Prime has been big on teaching these guys financial literacy, and you've been in that industry.
Yeah.
Is that one of the reasons that he brought you in? Is that something that you'll be doing with this team as well?
It is part of the dynamic that I bring. I've spent the past 7 years working in the financial sector, and what we want to do, and this is what I love about the man and the person. Obviously, you guys, you see the glasses and the chain, and he has his isms that he says, and and all the stuff that he does, and he appears to be this figure that's larger than life. But in reality, when these kids leave here, the most important thing that he cares about is who they become as a young man. That is the most important thing. And making sure, because he knows, and in sports, not just football, in sports, when a lot of athletes leave their sport, financially, they're not in good standing. And he wants to educate you on the field. He wants to educate you in life. He wants to make sure you're educated in finances. Making sure that these young men take the values of football and go be great in football, but make sure you're great in life as well. And that's the idea. He said something yesterday that hit me. A lot of, and I lost my father at a young age, so I grew up kind of fatherless as well. And a lot of these young men that come here, they come here fatherless. And then one of the worst things in the world is to be fatherless and then become a father, without being taught how to be a father. And making sure that they understand the aspects of life, and how when you're taught something, the best way is to then teach it to make sure that is ingrained in you. And he's one of those guys that care. Like he talked more about the GPA of the team than he does the 9 wins that they had last year. And that's indicative to the person that he is, that don't show up when you see him sitting here, giving those superlative answers that he gives.
Thanks, Coach.